All right, so this is a new one for me. This is the BenQ treVolo U desktop dialog speaker, a small Bluetooth speaker that has some pretty neat features, especially if you're an at-home office professional or a student. Also, since when did BenQ make speakers? Let's talk about it. What is up, guys? My name is Tyler, and today we're looking at the cute little speaker from BenQ. For those of you who don't know, BenQ is most well known for their monitors, but apparently they also make speakers. So what is the treVolo U? Besides the interesting name, it's basically just a Bluetooth speaker. The treVolo U may look like a conventional Bluetooth speaker, but it has a few tricks that make it a bit more unique than your run-of-the-mill speaker. For starters, it has two sensors in the top left corner. The silver one is an ECM, or electric condenser microphone, which essentially is a microphone that doesn't need polarizing voltage and usually contains a preamp inside, making them small, compact, and relatively good for small devices like the treVolo U. The silver bit is actually a parabolic receptor, which helps remove unwanted background noise and bring out voice clarity, which is sort of the main feature of the treVolo U, and is a phrase you'll hear me say a lot in this video. The other is some sort of depth sensor to help measure room tones and to measure how close you are to the speaker to better enhance your experience and even provide a safe listening volume. Okay, so hold up. Let's talk a bit more about these voice features, because that's really what makes the treVolo U special. Behind the scenes is actually a small chip dubbed the treVolo Voice Engine. Now, what this does is basically take all vocal sound coming out of the speaker and tunes it so it's not only clearer, but apparently improves your ability to hear pronunciation. Now, I don't know about you, but that seems like the strangest feature to offer on a Bluetooth speaker, because realistically, who's using a Bluetooth speaker to take calls? Well, the more I looked into it, I realized that BenQ is marketing this mainly toward those who take conference calls or lectures online via their tablet or laptop. You remember those Cisco conference phone devices? Yeah, this is sort of like that. Think of maybe a small at-home office or a dorm room. Not everyone has a full-size desktop these days, which means there's even less people who use desktop speakers. I'd be willing to bet most people who work from home just use AirPods or a pair of headphones to take their meetings, or just their laptop speakers and microphone, which we all know can widely vary. Y'all know there's that one person in your meetings who always has awful audio or horrible echo. You know who I'm talking about. Not only that, but for those who are learning a new language, the treVolo U supposedly lends itself well to helping you pick up those subtle pronunciations in a presenter's voice that would only ever be important when trying to learn a new language. Something I honestly hope to do someday, because who doesn't want to know how to speak multiple languages? Hell, I can barely speak English half the time. So, in a nutshell, the treVolo U is designed to sit on your desk and help make clarity in meetings a priority so there's less what in your calls. Not only that, but the mic is definitely a step up from your average laptop mic, so you'll be sounding clear as well, because let's be real, meetings suck. So the sooner we can get through them, the better. That being said, I did jump on a couple Discord calls, and the feedback I got from friends was that I sounded solid. Nothing to write home about, but I even tried gaming in the background on my Ally, and nobody seemed to hear anything but my voice, which is good. Call quality on my end was also pretty good, but personally, I couldn't necessarily hear the difference. That being said, there are three modes on the treVolo U: music, video learning, and live learning. Music mode is more of a standard mode that prioritizes overall sound quality. This mode has the deepest bass and is my all-around preference, especially while gaming, which we'll get to in a little bit. Video learning mode is the same as music, but dialogue frequencies are tuned up a bit to give it a boost. Now, where things get weird is the live learning mode. Turning this on basically means your priority is voice clarity and voice clarity only. This means all other sound is practically sacrificed and kind of sounds like this. Yeah, so this mode that I just put it in, I think, is for talking.
We are headquartered in the upper floors of ROG, but we also have remote stations throughout the world. There are less than a dozen ranges in all. We operate with limited resources. Thankfully, most people respect.
I definitely prefer the music mode, which I guess if you're willing and able to deal with that in order to be on a call while playing a game or listening to music, then there you go. However, I personally don't recommend using this mode unless you're strictly on a call. My suspicion is that the sound has to change to a frequency range that the microphone can't pick up in order to cancel out any self-induced background noise, and it works. This is where my first issue with the treVolo U comes into play, however. From what I can tell, the only way to enable the built-in mic is to switch it to live learning mode, which completely destroys any game audio you have running in the background. You might as well just turn game volume off, because in my experience, it was too hard to hear the person I was talking to because the game audio was competing in the background with no clear way to adjust the mix. So I'd say avoid using this mode for gaming, which means I don't recommend trying to be on Discord while playing a game with this speaker. My other issue is that the microphone is disabled in the other two modes, so you can't even choose whether you want better sound quality or better voice clarity. Which sucks, because the music mode sounds great for playing games, assuming you can get past the slight audio delay, but there's an included 3.5mm cable to eliminate any latency should you need it. The delay is about half a second, which you can hear here. All right, ready? And while I got used to it after a short while, it is still worth noting if you plan to use this for gaming, where latency matters a heck of a lot more than in a conference call. Okay, so the treVolo U clearly has a specific use case in mind. It's not a gaming speaker, but that doesn't make it unusable for gaming. Quite frankly, if you're like me and only play single player titles on your handheld, I found it to be the perfect little companion to my mobile gaming setup. Sound is full and rich, and the bass is surprisingly good for such a small speaker. Even at full blast, the treVolo U managed to stay clear without distorting any of the harsh sounds of the ships taking off and landing. I could totally see this being a speaker for people who work from home by day and like to game on the side by night. Nothing more, nothing less. It's designed for people who personally prefer speakers over headphones. And while the treVolo U has some smart volume features to improve hearing health,
Safe volume is on.
I found myself just wanting to crank it more often than not. Guess my hearing is a little busted over the years. But in any case, it's nice to know that BenQ thought of your ears when designing this, so you could theoretically keep it on with some light music without building any sort of fatigue like you might find wearing headphones or earbuds for 5+ hours a day. That much I can agree with, because let's be real, AirPods or headphones start to hurt after 5 to 6 hours of continuous use. This then leads us to the price. The treVolo U comes in at $209, which is a bit steep in my opinion. Granted, I am not the target audience for a speaker like this, and while I think the performance was solid for gaming, I'm not sure I'd personally spend $200 for this when there's tons of alternatives for less that are more geared toward entertainment. However, if you're looking for a better audio solution for your at-home office or dorm room, I think the treVolo U could be a great device, especially if you're in a ton of meetings or lectures and hate wearing headphones all day. Its voice clarity features make it a pretty unique little speaker, and I have to give it credit for that. But that's gonna be it for this one. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, and as always, make sure to subscribe to see more content like this. You can follow me on all the social media platforms at xxiv_concept. That's 24 concept. Learn your Roman numerals. All right, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. It's a cute little guy. It only comes in blue, as far as I can tell, which is not so good. You can tell, like, throughout the whole video, I've gotten darker on this side. It's kind of weird. Anyway, that's it. Bye-bye.